Evening, everyone. I just want to thank you, first of all, for being here. If you can all please mute your microphones if you have not already. Also, too, if you have any questions while I go through this, please put them into the chat so that we can address them at the end of the presentation. So I just want to start by asking you to just picture something for a moment. It's the middle of the night, the power's out, your phone isn't working, something's happened in your neighborhood. What does that first hour look like for you? Because in that moment, it's not systems that show up first, it's neighbors. And that's exactly what this is all about. Before we get started, I want to give credit where it's due. The node program is adapted from the Village Hub model, which was created by David Smathers Moore of Certain Together. He built on the original Seattle Emergency Communication Hubs, which was a grassroots neighbor helping neighbor system that grew out of a major windstorm in 2006. David basically took that concept and developed it into a framework others could use. And we're grateful he made those materials available because we've tailored the model for the residents within the fire district, but it stands on the shoulders of their work. And you can learn more about Certain Together at certaintogether.org. I also do want to add that in Woodside, we already have a village hub and a village pub, which is one of the major reasons why we decided to rebrand it. Before we get into Ready Nodes, I want to take a quick step back and talk about the bigger picture. WPV Ready, or Woodside Portola Valley Ready, is our community-wide approach to preparedness in within the fire district. And it's built around a simple idea. Preparedness starts with you in your home, and neighbors are the first line of support. In a disaster, systems may not work the way we expect, and cell service can and has gone down. Same with the power. And we know that help may take time to arrive, but your neighbors are right there. So WPV Ready focuses on building connection before disaster because those relationships are what make everything else work. And we pair that with simple systems that help people communicate, share information, and take action when it matters most. And that's where things like Ready Nodes come in. Let's start with some perspective. There's a 72% chance of a magnitude 6.7 or greater earthquake hitting the Bay Area within the next 30 years. And if we look at the larger picture, the diagram shows that California faces the highest likelihood of a damaging earthquake within the next 100 years, more than any other state. We are all very much aware of this. We all are aware we live in earthquake country. It's not a question of if, but when. So when it happens, our ability to recover will depend on how well we've prepared, not just individually, but as neighborhoods and a community. That there's a chart there and that expands that perspective a little bit. It shows the broader range of disasters that can affect us here in San Mateo County. And the red bar shows the economic cost of each event. And then you can see there that the gold sections represent how long daily life is disrupted. So things like power outages and smoke days, flooding, road closures. And while earthquakes carry the greatest overall impact, wildfires and severe storms are the events we're probably likely to face year after year. You know, as our climates shift, extreme heat and power shutoffs are becoming increasingly common concerns here. So together, these risks remind us that preparedness isn't about fear, it's about resilience. And the more we plan, the faster we can recover and the stronger our community becomes. When we talk about disaster preparedness, most people immediately think about supplies, flashlights, batteries, water, food. And yes, those things are important. But the biggest factor in whether people make it through a disaster safely isn't what's in their go bag. It's how connected they are to the people around them. If you know your neighbors, if you've talked through what to do and how to help one another, your whole street is already way ahead of the game. We saw this in places that have been through major disasters. Communities that were more connected bounced back faster and had fewer injuries and losses. It really comes down to this. In those first few hours after an event, we are each other's first responders. And that's what Ready Nodes are all about. It's creating those relationships before something happens. So we're not meeting for the first time in a crisis. So when we say neighbors helping neighbors, it's not just a nice phrase, it's the heart of resilience. After a big earthquake or major disaster, a lot of systems we rely on every single day may not work. Most likely will not work. 911, cell service, power, even water and gas. It's not that help isn't coming, it's just that it may take a while, especially here where we are so close, yet can be so quickly separated from the rest of the county. That's why it's so important for us to be ready to take care of each other in those first few hours or days. When the lights are out and communication lines are down, your neighborhood becomes your safety net. Think about it. The people on your street are the ones who will notice if a tree's blocking your driveway, if someone's hurt, or if a neighbor's house is damaged. We can't control when the next disaster happens, but we can control how prepared we are as a community. The more we plan now, where to meet, how to share information, who has what resources, the better off we'll all be. And Ready Nodes are built exactly for that kind of situation. Simple, low tech, and dependable when everything else is down. Okay, so every neighborhood already has more resources than most people realize. We just don't always know where they are or who has them. You might have a neighbor who's a nurse, another who's a contractor, someone with a generator, or someone who just happens to have some extra tarps or chainsaws in their garage. Those things can make a huge difference after a disaster. The problem is we usually don't find out that until after something happens. And by then, it's too late to coordinate. Ready Nodes change that. They help us figure out what strengths and skills already exist right here at home before an emergency. Then, when something does happen, we can connect those resources quickly and effectively. It's not about building something new, it's about connecting what we already have. Okay, so what exactly is a ready node? Think of it like a local meeting spot, a place where neighbors come together to share information, check in, and figure out what's needed after an emergency. It's intentionally simple and low tech. We are not relying on phones or the internet, just clear, reliable ways to share information and stay connected when everything else may not be working. Each node has a few trained volunteers who help keep things organized, but the goal is for everyone to be involved, not just a small group. Ready Nodes are designed to complement our CERT program, not replace it. CERT focuses on response, search and rescue, first aid, damage assessment. The Ready Node focuses on coordination. It matches the needs with resources, helping neighbors support one another. And together they create a really strong local safety net, one that's powered by community itself. It's not about what you have, it's how you connect. Let's walk through this example here. So imagine it's the day after a major earthquake and it's pouring rain. One family has a damaged roof and they need tarps to keep water out, but stores are closed, phones aren't working. A few blocks away, another neighbor has a stack of tarps in their garage and they'd be happy to share, but they don't know anyone that may need them. That's where the Ready Node comes in. It gives neighbors a simple shared place to check in, share information, and connect needs with resources. It's also where people can post updates, who's okay, where there's damage, and where help is being offered, or if someone needs assistance. It's also where people can post. Oh, wait, I just said that. It's simple, low tech coordination, but it makes a big difference. It turns confusion into communication, and it helps information move beyond just one street, connecting neighborhoods and supporting the broader response. All right, this is nodes share what matters. So one of the most important things during any emergency is communication, obviously. We're constantly talking about it here. Accurate information shared quickly. Each ready node becomes the go-to spot for updates in the neighborhood. It's where you can find information. Excuse me, let me just get some water. Okay. So it's where you can find out what's going on, what resources are available, and where help is needed. Think of it like a community bulletin board, but with a purpose. Messages can be posted by hand, passed through runners, or shared directly between neighbors. Because when people know what's happening, panic goes down and coordination goes up. It's how we keep calm and we stay connected. But that information can't stay on just one street. Once information is organized at the neighborhood level, the next step is making sure it can move clearly, quickly, and reliably. So let me show you what that can look like in practice. Now, I just do want to make you aware that this is not our video. This is from certaintogether.org. So you'll see David on here, and he will be using his name Village Hub. See it. Let's hope we can hear it.
You might think that you have to have those big tent canopies and tables and all that stuff to have a hub. Those are great, but you don't have to. We have a full hub set up here with the 4 stations, which I'll go through in a moment. My name is David Smathers Moore. I'm the founder of Certain Together, and we're going to go through the mechanics of how a hub works right now. Everything's based on a post. You can think about it in social media or in the Jeannie Chance's experience in Alaska. Each of her radio messages was a post, a short piece of information that people can learn something important and respond to. It's all on this one form. We use one form for all of the stations. So let's go through the information station first. It's organized in some subcategories. The first is bulletins. These are important information for the whole community to know and that we're confident is accurate. For example, this boil order, you can pull the card and see where it came from. We heard it on KCBS radio. The city of San Jose had issued a boil order, and here's the details. So we feel confident that this information is accurate and it's very important for the whole community to know. So it's here in bulletins. The next section is messages. This is where individuals are trying to get a message to a family member, or maybe a company is trying to get information to their employees. It's for specific people. So you can see here, Garcia M, Moore D. The people can quickly scan and see if their name is here. When you see a clip, that means that there's an exchange. Just like on social media, there's an original post and then there's a reply. So this family is having a conversation. They lost their home. They can't meet there, but they're exchanging messages through the hub. The next section is lost and found. Actually, I have it reversed because everything positive on the left side in all of these organizers. So we have on the left side is found and lost. So somebody found a black dog, somebody found his cell phone, and somebody's missing their wallet. You know they're missing it because the negative sign is circled. This section down below is information that we're less confident about or questions that people have. On the left, we have the heard that category. So somebody came by and said they thought it was important people know that there's a huge traffic jam downtown that they heard about. We don't know if that information is accurate or if it's still the case right now that that's happening, but we wanted to post it here. Maybe somebody knows more about it, and maybe it'll turn out to be more important later. But we didn't put it up here in bulletins. And then there's a question. Somebody is asking if anyone knows about a grocery store that's actually open. So we circle the negative, they circle the question, and they would put the details of what they're looking for. Every one of these organizers has blank forms down here in the bottom and pens and clips. So people are responding to a post, there's binder clips so they can respond. Let's move on to the volunteers section, the next of the 4 areas. Same idea. If there's something positive, which is somebody offering their services, they circle the plus sign on the post and the details are inside. And again, if you see a clip, you know that there's been an exchange of information. So originally somebody here posted with a negative sign because they were looking for something. They needed an electrician to help them set up a generator at their home. They weren't confident that they could do that correctly. So they posted here, and then an electrician responded, and we connected them. But we're keeping the information posted here because this electrician said that they're available for the next week or so. They're happy to help out, so they can help somebody else. Everything else that's a plus sign here is somebody offering that service. Over here on the where they're negative, that means people are looking for these services. For example, right here, somebody's looking for a Spanish-English translator. If we made a match, but we know that the person's no longer available or it's no longer relevant, we would put that information down here. We never want the forms to leave the hub. All the forms stay at the hub and never throw them out. They might prove to be important later. The next area, the last one where we use the posting system is called supplies and equipment. Same principle. If somebody has something to offer, they circle the plus sign. These people are offering tarps. These people have 5-gallon buckets that they're offering. These people have batteries that they're offering. And here's things that people are looking for. A chainsaw. Somebody had a huge tree fall on the front of their house. They're trying to get to their front door. They're looking for a neighbor who has a chainsaw. These people need to find a working refrigerator to store important medication, etc. You get the idea. We found that charging things is a common category, so I created a subcategory here of things related to charging. Somebody's looking for a generator for medical equipment, and somebody has offered if they have a cell phone charging station that's solar powered, and they're offering that to their neighbors. Again, things that are where it's no longer relevant, we put down here in the archive section. The last of the 4 areas of the hub is the education area, where we just post these posters that folks can browse and learn important information like how to purify water or how to properly go to the bathroom if there's no sewage system working. So that's the basics of a hub. You don't have to have the big canopies and tents. Those are great, but you could set this up anywhere that you can hang this kind of information. Thanks for watching.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Mark. All right. Now let me get back to... Okay, so you see how pretty simple and low tech that is, right? It's great. So now once that information is moving at the neighborhood level, the next step is helping it travel beyond your street. And that's where our Ready communicators come in. Ready communicators, what is their role? So these are trained volunteers who use radios to help move information between neighborhoods, CERT, and the fire district, especially when phones and internet aren't working. But let me just specify that they are not the starting point. Everything starts with a node. Communicators simply extend the network. They're helping information travel further when it needs to. Our CERT program and the Ready Node concept, they really go hand in hand. They're 2 parts of the same neighborhood preparedness system. If you're not familiar, WPV-CERT, which CERT stands for Community Emergency Response Team, is a group of trained community volunteers who support their neighborhoods during emergencies with basic response skills like first aid, light search and rescue, and damage assessment. And Ready Nodes focus on coordination, gathering information, matching needs with resources, and sharing updates locally. Ready communicators help move that information beyond the neighborhood, connecting nodes to CERT and the fire district. So while CERT may be out in the field helping those who are injured or assessing damage, the node team is organizing information and communicators are helping it travel where it's needed. So together they create a full circle of preparedness, communication, coordination, and response. Nodes organize, communicators connect, and CERT responds. In the first few hours of any disruption, neighbors are often the first source of information and support, and WPV-Ready Nodes help neighborhoods stay connected. They help share information and look out for one another when normal systems may not be working. So preparedness doesn't start with equipment. It really starts with relationships. It's boots on the ground. Ready nodes simply give neighbors an easy way to connect when it matters most. The best part about this program is how easy it is to get involved. You don't need a background in emergency response. If you're someone who's willing to connect with your neighbors and help when it matters, you're exactly what we're looking for. And there's a lot of ways to plug in, from joining a node to becoming a communicator. And we like to keep things simple, where we have short trainings like this one tonight. Regular radio check-ins for our communicators, and a really supportive community. And at the end of the day, this is all about building a culture of readiness, one neighborhood at a time. Also, too, with our node, that node kit that you saw, if you do establish a node, your people and in your place, WPV-Ready will purchase the kit for you, so that there's no cost out of your pocket. I just want to close by thanking you for being here, for showing up, and for caring about your community, because preparedness, once again, it's not about fear, it's about confidence. It's knowing that when something happens, we already have a plan and a network of people ready to act. Because when we build connections before a disaster, we're not just preparing for the worst, we're strengthening our neighborhoods every day. And that's why that's what Ready Nodes are really about. It's turning neighbors into teams. And if you'd like to learn more, this is all of my contact information on here. And we'll be posting classes on both those websites as they come along. We'll help you link up with your local node, but most likely we're going to help you start one up in your neighborhood, because this is our first intro class. Together with CERT and Woodside Fire, we're building something powerful. It's a community that is truly ready for anything, and I thank you for being a part of that. Just know that this is just the intro to it. The second component to this training is hands-on training, where we actually have a full-scale scenario exercise, and we set up the nodes, and we have people come through, and we have people use the forms and figure it out. So with that, I just want to say thank you again. And if you guys have any questions, if there's anything in the chat, please let me know. But that's all I have to present for this.
Selena, it looks like the chat is not enabled on this Zoom, and it can't be enabled, so we'll have to call on people.
That's fine with me. If you want to raise your hand, or just, I see Amanda right off the bat.
Yeah, I had a quick question for the nodes. What is the ideal number of people in the community that one node will handle nicely?
It's really not set at a number. If you have 3 people that you can take this training, so they know how the node operates, right? The neighborhood that it serves is whatever you make it. It could be 3 houses, 5 houses, it could be a whole area. Ladera did a full training that was, several, like many people doing it. Like they have one node set up for all of Ladera there. And I'm not sure, but I'm assuming they may be setting up multiple nodes, but they have one main node or hub over there in Ladera. So it's not really a set number. It's kind of organic in that sense.
So it'd be reasonable for both Vista Verde and Los Trancos Woods to be one node.
Yeah, as long as people can get to the location, right? Because it's all about location. You want it to be easily accessible, not, the stuff for the node is stuffed away, in the back of this garage where nobody's going to know where it is. It needs to be accessible. So it can be a driveway. It can be just a local community area where people naturally congregate, right? Or like in PV Ranch, they have their the community building there, right? So that's a perfect place for one. So places like that are really good.
Okay, thanks.
Selena?
Amanda, yes. It seems that for Los Trancos Woods, Vista Verde, we already have 2 communication centers, but we really haven't had the full up drills due to COVID the last few years, and we're probably overdue to stage that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and that's really where we want to take this is we've introduced this to you. So if this is something that you're interested in doing, we want to help you set up an exercise, right? A little mini drill, and get this implemented.
Yeah, it's sort of a complement to what we used to have, but I think we need to make sure it gets reactivated.
Yeah, and it's such an easy thing to do because it's so low tech, right? I mean, honestly, you really don't even need the forms. You just need a notepad, right? And a place to stick them. Yeah, that's what I really like about this is it's not this huge setup thing. You don't have to set up all these tents and these tables. If you only have a very small space, you can just have a table with all of the little places where you put in the forms just behind.
Are a PDF of the forms available?
The forms are available. It is all part of a purchase package, like I said, and we're more than happy to to buy the materials for you. And yes, I'm sure the forms are in PDF format to print.
Selena, to the previous question, this is Dudley. I'm at PV Ranch, and we're in the process of planning a node to be at the community center, as you suggested. But in the past, we've had the ranch divided into 7 smaller groups that are most of them 3 streets or the equivalent number of households. And I think in any neighborhood, you can do that kind of thing, break long streets into segments, and each one have its own sort of sub node. But then either you need a ready communicator or some other system of reaching from one sub node to the next and to the main central node. But the concept works. It's still neighbors communicating with neighbors.
Yeah, I mean, I think the concept is great because you can make it as small or as big as you want, and I think that's really what we need here because, we could have PV Ranch, is a big community and you don't want people to have to travel super far if the, roads aren't that accessible. So yeah, having smaller nodes within within PV Ranch and having your central area that maybe what's dispersing out to the smaller areas is a good idea.
Lena?
Yes.
The meeting is recorded. Where could I access the meeting, say, in a couple of days?
We'll make sure to post it on the WPV-Ready website. So if you go to WPV-Ready-Ready.org, we'll make sure to put that up there for you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Also, too, what I'll do is we have put together the manual that goes with it. And also, I kind of populated a list of question and answers, with the expectation that I'm not going to hit everything. So we'll make sure that's all available online for you.
I wondered whether when Ladera did its drill, what the feedback was on the forms, just seeing the forms from a distance. They looked possibly like a lot of paperwork relative to maybe what was trying to be achieved. And I just wondered if there was any feedback on how useful the forms were.
Yeah, the forms it's just a one form for all the areas. And I think what was really important to stress to them is that you don't need to fill out the entire form. Okay. You just fill out exactly what you need, but it has the area to expand on if necessary. Okay, who's going to establish a node? Hopefully everybody here. That would be great. Any other questions from anybody?
Yeah, I have one. This is Joanne. I'm trying to figure out with the film that we watched, how is the idea that you set that up so if people need something that they just go and look at it all the time, or I'm a little confused about how that is. And what if it is raining? Because that thing was out in the open. It's like,
well, yeah, it doesn't have to be out in the open. It could be in somebody's garage that they've just lifted the door up, right? Or if somebody has a pop-up tent, put it under a pop-up tent. But the forms, the way they work is that it has like a what you need or what you have, right? So the assumption is after a disaster, people will go, okay, I'm safe at home now. Let me go see what's happening in my neighborhood, right? And so they go looking around, trying to figure out how to help each other. And maybe they have like a generator that they're willing to loan to somebody that needs a generator. So they go to the node and they say, hey, I have a generator. So on that form, they fill out that little plus sign and it writes generator, and then it has their contact information because the node does not store anything. It is just a way to communicate people to resources or communicating people to resources. So it's just a form where people can go up, pull the information, get the contact, know how to reach them. Obviously, if cells aren't working, hopefully, it's within walking distance, so but it is meant to be very simple and low tech and without storing a bunch of supplies like we used to do many, many years ago. Yes, Lori.
Hi, Lori Duvall, Golden Oak Drive. So this node idea is taking us way back to a very simple way of communicating. Because I still have the shed of gear. I still have forms that neighbors filled out. I used to run earthquake exercises and all kinds of stuff here. But this is just dialing it way back to the very basics, focusing on communication between neighbors so that they can share supplies and skills. Yeah?
Yes. It's
Okay.
not go, here's all these supplies in your shed. It's know what you have, what you're willing to help with, right? And where to go to share that information with others or to get the help you need. That's really it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
I saw somebody else with their.
So basic. So
yes, very basic.
So I had a question, Amanda here.
Okay.
If, we do have in Vista Verde and Los Trancos Woods each have an emergency center, which would be perfect to set up a node in. How do we go about getting our nodes?
Yeah, no, it would just be reaching out to me and then I'll work out the logistics of getting the nodes, getting the setup to you, right? And then we would work on making sure we have the hands-on, right? The hands-on portion scenario.
Right, super.
Yeah.
Well, we'll contact our emergency coordinators.
That's great.
Get that started. Thank you.
I think I saw, was it Janice who had a question? You're muted. Here we go. There you go.
So I was a little hesitant because I have a question about the fire inspections at people's homes. Are we supposed to sign in for that, or are we supposed to wait till the fire department contacts us and says they're coming to our neighborhood? I live in Ladera.
Yeah, that's a little off topic, but I can just tell you that if you are if you are within the area where we're currently doing inspections, right? We are happy to come, or we will be reaching out to you, but we encourage you as well to sign up for a free assessment. Like you can go onto our website and if you scroll down, it says schedule an inspection or assessment. And if you click on that, it has the community assessment and you can schedule one right there so that you can have that one-on-one one-on-one expertise there at your house to help give you recommendations. And we will be putting flyers out about that, about scheduling those with a giant QR code on it too. We're actually just working on making those banners so that we can inform the public about that. Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions?
Yes, Selena, Craig Heber.
Hi.
Hi. Will you guys be encouraging the fire safe communities to become nodes?
Absolutely. Those are just natural. It's just a natural place to have a node because you already have those kind of leaders, right? But the thing is it's not going to be too much extra. It's not really a lot of extra work. It's just if you have somebody that's already established as a FireWise leader, right? People already know, hey, like that's where that person lives, and so it may be easy for them to set up a node in that location.
Yeah, it seems
Yeah,
like
but
it seems like a
right?
natural thing.
Exactly. It seems just right.
All right, thanks.
Hmm. These are great questions. Any other questions?
Lena, it's Mark. I have a comment if there's no other questions.
Yes.
I think what's powerful about this idea is the fact that it doesn't require a lot of effort through the organizers of a neighborhood or community or Firewise community. If there's just one message you pass on to people, it's this is where we have a node. So if we need to meet, that's where you meet. And because there's nothing else to it really, other than perhaps having some forms and maybe a pop-up tent or some other small logistical items, it can survive the test of time by making sure that as leaders get interested, perhaps become busy or move on to other neighborhoods or move out of the area, you can pass on to your neighbors that the concept of the node lives on because there's no ongoing work required by the
Yes.
leaders to maintain it. And that is a really powerful reason why implementing them and making them known to your neighbors, this is where we meet, this is where our node is such a powerful and easy thing to maintain in the long term.
Exactly. You're not maintaining inventory lists, right? Or all these contact lists. This is the location of our node, and everybody knows what the node is for. And it's that simple, which is, record keeping. Keeping consistent records is so difficult, we know. And people change positions all the time and come and move in and out of the area. So, I think it couldn't get any simpler than this.